Dear friends in Christ, I stand before you grateful and inspired by all that you do to help those who are less fortunate than you. This past year, the Archbishop's annual appeal established a new all-time record, raising upwards of $9.9 million. This is an amazing accomplishment and an extraordinary demonstration of your generosity, especially as we continue to live in challenging economic times. As we embark on this year's appeal entitled Charity, Our Witness to Faith, I am optimistic and excited about all of the critical works that will be carried out in your name. Every penny that is raised will be spent on programs, ministries, and services that enrich the lives of thousands in our communities who need us most, our sick, our poor, and our struggling families. Your gift also strengthens our pastoral programs, including those for our seminarians and retired clergy, Catholic schools and religious education, and youth ministries. As Catholics, our faith and charity are deeply intertwined and are at the core of our identity and traditions. Charity, our witness to faith, will give us an opportunity to come together and serve those who so desperately need our help in our parishes, neighborhoods, and across the Archdiocese. Join me as we take a look at just a few examples of the extraordinary ministries, activities, and programs that will be enhanced by your support of Charity, Our Witness to Faith.
Rose Majestic runs WHEAT, the West Haven Emergency Assistance Task Force. She says the agency used to serve about 200 residents. Now they serve upwards of 3,000.
We provide food once a month to any West Haven resident who comes through our doors. And in addition to that, if they have needs for utility assistance, rent, diapers, things like that, while we may not have those in stock and we don't have those funds, we are the referral sources for all of them.
Although the majority of those visiting WHEAT are underemployed or chronically unemployed, Rose has discovered that the face of poverty is constantly changing.
We've had a big uptick in seniors who just have one thing that happens that Medicare doesn't cover, and it throws them over the ropes. A lot of people waiting for Social Security or disability benefits, and a lot of veterans coming home who are just re-entering the community, trying to find a place to live, and certainly they need food because they're also waiting for their benefits to kick in.
One of those veterans is George Gilbert.
Prior to coming up to West Haven, I was homeless for close to 3 years. After leaving the military, I lived in the woods for almost 3 years. Even through the worst winters that we've had, I came to a point where, I needed to get help. I didn't have a drug addiction, I didn't have anything like that. I just had, issues adjusting from being out of the military.
WHEAT was founded by the West Haven Clergy Association 40 years ago.
We would not survive without support. We are a private charity. A lot of people have a misconception that we are a government agency, and we are not. And we survive on the generosity of this community and grants and funds like the Archbishop's annual appeal. And if we're not funded and we fail, there is a deeper level of poverty that will exist in this country than already does.
George and the thousands of others who visit WHEAT are proof of that.
If you, are in a situation where you're struggling, and everybody knows it's bad out there, you got to utilize programs like this.
And with the help of the Archbishop's annual appeal, George is able to come here to WHEAT and find the help he needs.
We had a woman who cried because we gave her a chicken, and she had been living on rice and hot dogs with her kids for like 2 months. And we don't think it's much, but they do, and that humbles. That makes me very humble. And it sort of speaks, the volunteers are always amazed and feel like there are miracles going on every day.
By feeding the hungry and caring for the downtrodden, Rose Majestic and her dozens of volunteers are living their witness to faith, with thanks to the Archbishop's annual appeal. Life for the Rodriguez family was changed shortly after their son Lorenzo was born.
We found out when he was about 6 months of age that he couldn't sit down on his own, or he couldn't move or anything on his own.
What followed was 11 years of doctor's appointments, surgeries, hospital stays, and unanswered questions.
Unfortunately, Lorenzo doesn't have a diagnosis as of now. He's a very low muscle tone kid, developmental delay, hypotonia. Cognitively, he's there, he understands everything very well, but it's just the muscle part on his body that is not working properly.
And so, for the past 11 years, Lorenzo has been completely dependent on his family. But despite his condition, Lorenzo is a growing child, which makes taking care of him a growing challenge for his parents.
He's still over 45 pounds now, but so far we've been able to move him around, give him bath, or do whatever his needs are. But now as he keeps getting older and bigger, it's been a little more complicated to handle him.
To safely provide Lorenzo's needs, the family needed to make major changes to their Avon home. The estimated cost of all these changes? Over $100,000, and none of it was covered by the family's insurance. The family got help to meet one of those needs through the Emergency Assistance Fund administered by Catholic Charities. The fund provided money to help with some of the renovations, including a ramp in back of the Rodriguez home. Lorenzo's parents say they don't know what they would have done without all the support their family has received.
Who knows what's coming up next, so it'll be very, very tough to live without all the help and all the support.
But they have that support thanks to your witness to faith and the generous support of the Archbishop's annual appeal. The Archbishop's annual appeal has helped hundreds of men respond to God's call to the priesthood. One such man is Deacon Michael Casey, who is now studying in Rome.
The Archbishop's annual appeal has assisted myself and all the seminarians in really giving us the freedom to study for the priesthood, to prepare to give our lives for Christ, without having to worry about whether or not we're supported back home.
The Archdiocese of Hartford currently has 43 men in formation, with 6 of them to be ordained in May.
I think so much of what we receive, we recognize that it's a pure gift, and we're totally grateful for it. And we hope here to be able to gather up spiritual gifts and share those back home.
Director of Vocations for the Archdiocese of Hartford, Father Michael Dolan, says that the Archbishop's annual appeal is vital to vocations. He says without it, there would be no parish priests. Helping men answer God's call is charity, our witness to faith.
I think the value of Catholic education is that it teaches the children the depth of our Catholic faith tradition and helps them, no matter what their faith is, to develop a sense of spirituality.
And dollars from the Archbishop's annual appeal helps thousands of students develop that spirituality.
Over the past 9 years, over 180 children have benefited by this program, and it just closes the gap in what parents can afford.
For Christine Mansfield of Wallingford, it's hard to put a price tag on a Catholic education.
The stewardship message is really alive and clear. When you look at that value, you could put a dollar figure on it, but I think it's priceless to think of that we're teaching our generations to serve. And that's instituted in their education on a daily basis.
Each year, the Archbishop's annual appeal provides hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Tuition Assistance Program, which helps families send their children to Catholic schools.
On a personal level, as a Sister of Mercy, I have never wanted to turn any child away from Holy Trinity School because of financial difficulties. With the help of the Archbishop's annual appeals, tuition assistance, I feel I have been able to honor that promise, that I have been able to reach out and help those in need.
There is a message of service and leadership that the Archbishop has exemplified and is passed on to my children, and Sister Katie has passed it to my child. What priceless message can we gather? That's a dream.
Providing an affordable Catholic education is charity, our witness to faith.
Your gift to charity, our witness to faith, will be felt across the Archdiocese and help make all these things and many more possible. With your gift, we are able to enrich our parishes, transform our communities, and invest in the future of our faith. As you well know, the appeal enables us to carry out our faith in bold and exciting ways. Tens of thousands of our brothers and sisters will be impacted in a positive way by your contribution. Every gift, no matter how big or how small, will make a difference and bring the love of Christ into their lives. May God bless you and your loved ones, and may God bless our efforts.